There we go. Now we're recording. So now we got to get all official and all that. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. I think we're going to move it up an hour from, well, it's just 5 o'clock my time, 4 o'clock my time now. I forget wherever you all are. It's an hour earlier in your world as well. It's going to help me be able to help Nathan out a little bit as well, because I'm usually headed to soccer practice with my son halfway through the call on a Friday afternoon. So hopefully that'll help with that as well. So I think we're just going to follow up with our notes as we do each week. Do we have any new callers on the phone? I think, Marty, this is the first time you've called in, but you know enough about us. There's nothing new in that respect. Anybody else, this is the first time they've called in? All right. Jim, did you want to give us a update on your end?
Sure. So right now, with the initiative number 1, produce a version 2.0 of the guidelines for the PDF coalition. The goal right now is to have version 1.0 ready or being pulled down from the studio on October 7th. So I think that's next week-ish,
Okay.
week and a half from now or so.
Week after next.
Yeah, week after next. So we have a little bit of time left, but 2 full weeks left for comments for our studio session, which is the link that's up above. Our goal right now is we have some comments, and we're tracking those comments. As we move past the 10/7 date, the following call on the 14th is going to be focused on kind of sharing the results. So it'll give me about a week to put everything together. And on the 14th, we will show some results and go from there. Give everybody, and I think we're going to call it a version 1.5, and then go from there with a fully integrated 2.0. But the goal is to have the 1.5 done and ready to go by AU and do a couple of different things. So we are definitely tracking to that, and then kind of going from there. So it's happening.
We're not doing anything on your initiative at BIM Forum, are we, Jim?
No announcements from the BIM Forum, I don't think. I think it's just another conversation, and it's
Right.
an in-person host that was sent out. I think one of the meetings gets canceled, and then the BIM Forum is actually a live event hosted there for that. But no, we are not trying to present anything new,
Okay.
just more of a local-based. I think it's in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's going to be a local session there. So the call probably will be canceled, but then we'll have, an in-person meeting there.
Yeah, we're gonna cancel the meeting, but we're gonna cancel the call that Friday. But if you're at BIM Forum or in and around Atlanta during BIM Forum on Wednesday, what is Wednesday? The 19th, I want to say. Last day of the conference. Yeah, the 19th. From 12:30 to 2:30, we're meeting with some of the BIM Forum brass, for lack of a better term, to talk over some things. We met with them when we were in San Diego. I guess that was time before last BIM Forum, so I guess that was the last maybe spring forum, BIM Forum. We met with them, had a good conversation with them, kind of opened their minds that we were talking about bridging the gap between current workflow and a true BIM model-centric workflow, but we had to find something to bridge the gap. Then we also showed them some 3D PDFs and metadata within the PDFs and all. So I think we have some opportunity there with them. And so we want to kind of build on that and build on what we've started so far. So if you're there, you're welcome to join us. It's open to anyone that's there that wants to join in. And like Jim said, it will be a kind of hands-on, face-to-face opportunity for you to meet some of us. I know myself and Nathan will be there. Chris Lagiza will most likely be there. I don't know who else from in the core committee is going to be there, but I know us three will be there. I don't think, Lonnie, are you on the call? don't think Lonnie's on the call for an update on the awareness, and I don't think Lagiz, are you on the phone? No, he's not on the call either for the data dictionary, but I know he has some things upcoming on that, and he may even share some of that at BIM Forum. That kind of gets us to where we were last week, where Drew presented. And this week, Nick is going to present. And Nick, let's say your last name for me again. I'm sorry, I'll butcher it if I don't.
My name is Nick Tishka.
Okay. Nick, it's good to have you. I will let you, without me having to do anything, I will let you take it over. I'll stop sharing my screen, and you can start sharing yours. It should be just at the bottom, very bottom of the screen.
Yeah, I think I see it.
You just click that,
yeah.
and it'll, yeah, there we go. We can see your screen now. I'll let you give an intro of what the tool is you're working on, and what it does. I'll just say this: what we're looking at, and the reason we had talked to Nick, Nick gave Nathan and myself and Chris a little demo last week, and we asked some questions, and we're interested in some of the things that we're doing. And the good thing, what we were looking at, and the interest for us was, it helps us kind of scrub and check data before that we want to check for the Construction PDF Coalition prior to it being pushed out of Revit into a PDF. So if we're creating these standards that we want to track information and other things within the PDF, and if we create these templates and these standards on top of that, we can use a tool like his to check to make sure that work is going on in Revit before we even get the PDF. So that was kind of our interest in the process. Me on the owner side, I have some additional interest, as you can imagine, but that's kind of what we were looking at as it relates to the PDF coalition and where it's going with his tools. So with that, I will hand it over to you, Nick.
Oh, thanks. Just to give kind of a brief explanation of what this is, what we're developing is a Revit plugin that helps people manage their parameters. There's a lot that can be done with that, and to more explain it is to say that what we're trying to do is find errors or misspellings or anything that wouldn't be in compliance with whatever the project or the company standards. And the tool that we've been working on basically allows you to select from all of the built-in categories and all of its subset parameters, and then check them against nomenclature files that you establish, that your company or you establish. And if anything doesn't fit the criteria that you put into it, it prompts you in reports and in 3D views. So like a quick demo here, we'll see if I can demo it just sort of live right now. We've constructed a plugin, and it's actually a whole toolbar, a suite that we have called Paramnesia. And currently we have 2 utilities on here, but we're also expanding it to more utilities. The main utility is called the model checker, and the model checker allows you to select any of these building categories, and you can choose from anything that's in the model. When it loads the whole all of the model built-in categories that are in that particular model, and then also the ones of the parameters as well. And then it filters on these things based on strings, and also same thing goes for parameters. So you can sit here and choose what parameters that you want to pick from. We've put a like a smaller demo on YouTube if you just want like a quick demo. But since I got you here, I'll go over some of the more complex functionality. Like we even have string search functionality, so you can type in like a few key letters, and it will find anything with those letters in it. And you can even separate it with like a comma, and then you could then it does a Boolean addition. So it allows you to pick from different types, and you can write in the sub letters if you just want to be like a quick a quick way of finding these things. Let me erase these guys here. Also, I wanted it to be really user-friendly. So what we've done is we've allowed you to do sort of like the quick selection. If you want to do a lot of parameters, there's a lot of things in here that we wanted to make it be as easy as possible and simple to use. So for like a quick example here that we have in the demo is like let's search on electrical equipment and let's search on panel name. So like in this example that we have here on this project, we have a bunch of panels that have specific names that have to conform to a standard that we've developed. Otherwise, we could have major problems down the line. So I've picked the parameter that I want to look at. This allows you to do multiple parameters too, but just for the simplicity of this demo, I'm going to pick one. Then what we want to do is browse for a pre-existing nomenclature file. And this is a file that you would set up at your firm, depending upon the project or sub-project, or depending upon the company standards. It's really up to you how you want to do it. And I'll show you what's inside it in a second. But if I just click on this file, it loads it up. And if you want to look inside it, we have a little manage utility that allows you to even edit, view, and see all of the different parameter types that are in this particular string, or in these string types in this particular parameter. And you can load and save that and manage your nomenclature files. There's also a history, which is really useful if you've been doing a lot of the similar searches. So it'll be like a back button, and it will select the previous searches. And then there's also favorites. So if there's one that you like to save across different projects, you can save it in your favorites, and it will hold on to this search for the future. Down here is a thing that tells you what you've selected, and this is what it's going to run on. So here it's showing that I'm in the electrical equipment, and it's going to pick the panel name. But like if I clear the search and I add a few more, let's say I add a few more types, you can see them all here. And basically, sometimes it's hard because Revit has so many parameters, it's hard to find where you've selected. So this reports you what you've already selected. And the really nice thing about this is also, like, let's say you pick something. You don't want to sit here and find the comments in this big list. You can just right-click, and it will remove any parameters that you don't want to have from that search. So if you made a mistake or whatever, you just click on this, and it removes them automatically. So I'm back to the parameter of panel name, and I can run this utility. And what it will do is it will create a schedule and a 3D view of the offending parameters, or anything that's out of compliance. And right now it's just loading it up. So it says it's finished, and right now I'm in the view called, and that we have a prefix here that allows you to isolate what schedules that have been created by our utility. And here are the 3 panels that don't comply to our standard. And if I go to the schedules, you'll see the schedule here reports all of the schedules that deal with that panel type. And then here is a parameter that we've added to the objects that tells you whether or not they do conform to your project standards or not. So here is showing you that this particular panel is non-compliant. You know, extend it out just a little bit more so you can see the different family and type names. But here, this one's non-compliant, this one's non-compliant, and this one's non-compliant. So this tells you that, well, okay, either somebody had misspelled or somebody was using an incorrect panel type for this particular project, and allows you to monitor and track these things. Some of the more recent things that we've added to the utility is the schedule exporter. And the nice thing about the schedule exporter is it helps you manage your nomenclature files even more. What it does is it reflects the schedule, that's the active schedule right here, and and you can still see that there's non-compliance. This is the same non-compliance that was in the schedule that's in Revit. But by making a user interface here, we're able to do a lot more with the APIs than what is accessible by just using the schedule in here. So I've made a duplicate schedule, and let's say actually PP-2B is actually acceptable, but our nomenclature file doesn't reflect this change. What you can actually do is save this to an existing file, and I'm just going to save it to here. This is something I've made, but you can save it to the previous file, the one that you ran on. But I'll just pick this one here just to show that it does it. And there we go. We've added it to it. Then the manage utility is still in here as well. So if you wanted to see this change in here, you can see it. It's been added to the bottom. But I've added this to here, but it hasn't changed the non-compliance parameter because you need to purge the schedule from the utility here. And once you have the model checker loaded, it takes a moment because it does check all of the parameters in the file. And if you know anything about Revit, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of parameters. So it's checking all of them to make sure that they're all working. Essentially, what we've done, we've added this compliance here, and then when we run it again, you can choose to purge here. In fact, I'll just purge it so you can see here. So here are the schedules. When you load it, it'll check the prefix to find if any previous schedules had been run on that file. And it even loads it too in here. So you can see there's the schedule, or there's a 3D view of the three offending panels. But also I can go back to the schedule and see what's going on here as well. But if I want to purge them, there's just the purge button that pulls out all of the schedules and parameters that are linked to any of the objects. It cleans the file basically. And then if I want to run it again, well, let's just look at the history. Well, I know this is the one that I used last time. As you can see, it loaded the panel name right there. And I can rerun it, and it will reload the Revit file with a new schedule and a new 3D view. That's currently where we're at with the development, but we're also adding more and more tools to this every day. And ultimately, we want this thing to be like a suite, basically, in Revit, which helps people manage the existence of parameters, manage what those parameters are reporting, whether or not they comply with the company or project standards. There's a lot that this can be used for, and we're really hoping this helps a lot of people out across all different disciplines in the AEC industry.
All right, thanks, Nick. Is anybody, while we have Nick on the phone, does anybody have any questions or want to ask him about anything, or? No questions? All right.
Do you guys have people out there testing this right now?
Yeah, we have a few people, and if you're interested, we have a version right now on the website that you can download and install. It's free right now for a few weeks as we're trying it out. We've tested it on a lot of architectural Revit files, but what would be really great is if we could test it on more MEP and structures and those types of models.
And like I said, we met with him a couple weeks ago, and I had a bunch of questions for him that they're checking into as well. So, where can they reach you, Nick, if they want to send you any other questions, or after they test it out, have some questions and feedback for you?
Well, that's right. It auto corrects the link when if you just type in 0001design.com. You can find me at the contact there, but also if you go to, if you end it with Paramnesia, that you end it with that link right there, you can download the software. You can download our help files as well. We've developed a CHM for it, and you can watch the video that we also have, which has a lot of what I showed, but I went a little bit more detailed. And license is free currently at the moment. Yeah, my contact is here. I can also send my email as well.
Okay. Thanks, Nick. And I also put the video link in the chat notes today, if anybody's interested. So Nathan's not with us today because I haven't seen a new download for it yet. So I think he's in the midst at the moment of recording with Benham and Bone and the Conap Guru guy on Contact Trio. So it's where he is today. And if anybody wants to tune into that, that should be available this afternoon, and he'll be on there, and you can listen to that. But that's where he was today. Jim, do we have anywhere that we can get feedback from people about our actual weekly calls?
I was wondering the same thing.
No, I don't think. I think the OneNote would be the only place because it is that location, or they could comment on the LinkedIn account. But we don't have a specific, survey going out or a place for people to provide comments.
Right.
At the moment, no.
Okay. Let me get with Nathan on that as well. I would like to get some feedback on some other things that were interesting showing other than just what we've got on the agenda for as far as thinking about what's next for the PDF Coalition. I've also talked to Nathan about maybe doing this every 2 weeks instead of every week, because the last thing I want to do is, I think we do have some momentum within the coalition, and I know what Nathan's doing. He's trying to keep the momentum going strong, especially between now and AU. But the last thing that I want us to do is have these calls and they not be of interest to you, and then they start to drop off steadily and quickly. So I want to keep them still interested. You all are taking your time to join the call and check and see what's up and what's been changing and what's new to the coalition. So I want to keep it fresh, and if that requires us going to every 2 weeks, that may be something to think about, and I'd like to get some feedback on that. But I'll find out a way that we can get some feedback on the call in general, and maybe how often we should have them. So with that, we'll get done quite a bit early today, but that's what happens when Nathan's not here to talk. Let me do a roll call real quick. Do we have anybody that's new? This is the first time they've joined our weekly call.
Well, me as in Nick Pishka here. This is my first call on here.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us, Nick, and for sharing, and hopefully we can get some feedback for you. So I've got everybody's name. I see Brad, Chris, Jim, Marty, Nicholas, Ruben, Roberto. Who is 213?
That's me. I'm cheating. I'm calling in as well.
You called as well. I just saw that. I was getting ready to say that. One of those numbers. Who's 801?
That's me. That's Brad. I'm also new to the call.
Oh, okay.
So I called in and did the web. I was forwarded the invitation from a colleague who then did not show up on the call.
Okay, Brad. So you've got to tell us who you are and a little bit about. You got to tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself, then.
Yep. I'm with Oakland Constructions out of Salt Lake City. Is our corporate office. We also have an office in Tempe, and commercial construction. And within our company, I'm process improvement manager, working on just that, defining our processes and trying to find more efficient ways to do that. Obviously, drawing management, Bluebeam, PDFs is a big way of doing that right now, going digital with all of our project teams and things like that. So,
okay. Have you used, downloaded, or reviewed the guidelines?
I have not.
Okay. Alrighty. So since you're new to the call, I can, Jim, can you drop the link to that in the chat?
Yeah, do it right now.
So for you, Brad, and anybody else that still wants to, and if you came on late, Brad, it'll show you the guidelines, but it also will show you the markups that we're putting in place That's leading up to us doing a version 2 come AU. So you can get the guide. So you can not only get the guidelines by downloading them from the website, but if you go to the other link, you can actually see the markups that people have put in. And if you have any that you want to add, please go ahead and add. Thank you for joining us today, and you're welcome to join us.
Was there a studio session I heard at the beginning right as I was jumping on that you guys are using, or?
Yes. That's actually what
I'll post that studio I'll post that as well on the chat so you can grab it.
Okay. That's actually the one. Yeah, I was gonna grab. So there you can actually see those markups and stuff. So thanks for joining us. You can join us each and every week if we continue to do weekly, and I think we will, at least leading up to AU, as we try to keep everybody informed of what's going on and what's changing. I think that's about it, unless anybody else has anything else. And I'm not sure who Nathan was talking to for next week. I want to say maybe it was, who was it from Autodesk that he was thinking about? Do you remember, Jim?
Oh, what's his name? He was on the call, the first call. I'll just look at the notes really quick. Hold on.
I want to say Ian. Is that right?
I don't know.
Frank?
I don't think so. I don't know.
No, Frank's kind of involved in working with us. I think Ian, I want to say it was Ian, but I may be completely wrong. Was going to be on the call and kind of talk through some of the PDF issues that we have out of Revit and stuff like that. And that kind of comes from the presentation that we did, I think, 2 weeks ago, about the AutoCAD workflow with the PDF and wanting to eliminate the AutoCAD part of the PDF workflow. So anyway, I think that may be next week. If not, we'll get out and who that is and let you all know. Like I said, I'll get that feedback as well to figure out whether this time is better than the other time. But thank you all for joining. Grab the information you need out of the chat window. And if nobody has anything else, we will all reconvene and talk next week. Sound good?
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everybody, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you so much. See you.
All right.
Goodbye.